Hi, it's Ileana. Today I'm going to be discussing a topic about the Galactic Federation of Worlds and secret space program stuff in regards to Lunar Operations Command. It's not what that's called. It is actually called Lunar Space Operations. And this individual is claiming that the Galactic Federation of Worlds is working with the Alliance and has the medical beds or medical pods being built on Lunar Operations Command. I call it Lunar Space Operations because that's what its real name is. I've been on the moon. I did my 2 years there as part of the 60 and back. And I had seen Lunar Space Operations. It's a large gray-white multi-leveled base that has limited holographic medical pods. It's not massively manufacturing them. It's not mass producing them under any alliance or Galactic Federation of Worlds. It's not working with them. So there's limited holographic medical pods for the healing of the personnel on that base. And it's connected to US Navy and military. It's partly their operations on the moon. So what this individual is saying, that Lunar Space Operations is mass producing holographic medical pods and that the space has been retrofitted. That's not true. This base is already advanced. It never needed retrofits to create operations for mass producing holographic medical pods. So it's not a mass production site working with the Alliance and Galactic Federation of Worlds. And they're not doing any genetic evolution, working with genetics on that base. So there's a lot of misinformation and misappropriation of other people's information being used in the wrong context, because this individual is not connected to the Galactic Federation of Worlds anymore. This individual was being controlled by mind programming from a photonic technology, sending them the wrong information. So they're not currently connected to the Galactic Federation of Worlds. I had done a remote viewing on this, so they're not connected to the secret space program in any way, shape, or form. So this individual doesn't really understand how they're using certain terminology and what they're talking about. So Lunar Space Operations is not healing super soldiers from Mars. The Mars operations of planetary corporations have their own holographic medical pods that heal the Mars super soldiers, and they do not give that tech to Lunar Space Operations. Lunar Space Operations, LSP, has limited holographic medical pods usage. They have the facility, they have some of the holographic medical pods, but they're not a mass production site for it. On the moon base, that base is used for research and development of advanced weaponry, of spacecraft, the hyperdrive engines going beyond the speed of light. That's what they do, as well as they study different extraterrestrial beings. They profile those beings, their cultures, their way of life, languages. That's what they do on the LSP, Lunar Space Operations. They have multiple bases, not just on the moon. They're involved in mining, in asteroid exploration, all that stuff. They're not known for mass production of having a retrofitted plant for for mass producing holographic medical pods and healing children on that base. They don't do that. Now, planetary corporations is involved heavily in the cybernetics lab in genetic evolution and genetic manipulation of human DNA and ET DNA, splicing and dicing ET DNA with human DNA to create human ET hybrids in the cybernetics labs. Planetary corporations does that on their Mars bases. And I had worked in those cybernetic labs, and I also did that kind of work. So I can say that they do genetic evolution, and they play around with modifying genomes and human DNA with ET DNA, and they study extraterrestrial genomics. They collect a lot of DNA from different ET species, mixing it with human DNA, with animal DNA. That's what they primarily do in the cybernetics labs. On the planetary corporations, they have many bases on Mars. That's what they do. They splice and dice genetics. They're able to heal genetics. They're able to change genetics. They do all of that stuff. But they're not doing it for the advancement of humanity. They're doing it for themselves. And they're not sharing any genetic evolution with Earth. Whatever they advance in genetics, they're not sharing it with us. They have no intent to do so. So, again, these concepts of the Alliance and Galactic Federation of Worlds completely retrofitting the secret space programs for lunar space operations, I'm sorry, that's not true. So, and the Jupiter Accords have not completely changed the face of the secret space programs. That would be the future goal, but that stuff still has to be cleaned up. It's a process. So, this individual making all these claims is not accurate. They're borrowing information from several different sources, and they're just wanting this to be our reality, which is not at this moment. We have a lot of Earth things to take care of, to clean up the mess here. Why would lunar space operations give us holographic medical pods anytime soon? That's down the road in the future at some point. And the holographic medical pods would be available everywhere for free. In all the hospitals and all the healing clinics, you would not be paying something to get access to a holographic medical pod to be healed. People would not be taking payments from you to have access to that regenerative technology. And anybody who asks you for payment now for supposed medbed usage and healing, they're not using the real holographic medical pods. It's knockoffs of medbeds. So we need to be careful here and use discernment. And again, a lot of people are unfortunately misusing information that doesn't even belong to them in the first place, like this individual. And that's confusing a lot of people who are watching them and listening to them. Because again, there's inaccuracies of what's being told from this contact that they're connected to. That contact is not the real being from the Galactic Federation of Worlds. There's mind manipulation being done on that person. And unfortunately, they're used to spread misinformation and disinformation. So, everyone, please be careful. Use your discernment, who you listen to, who you hear, who you follow. Sometimes there's things going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. So, I remote viewed this person because I was being asked to have them on my show. But when I remote viewed them, when I did my scan, I discovered that there was mind control and mind manipulation. And it wasn't coming from a positive source. So I couldn't have them on my show. I wasn't directly involved with them, nor am I now. But you see, I did a couple of videos saying what the matter was and to be careful. So the same thing is happening now with that person. They're still being mind controlled because the videos that they're doing about lunar space operations and genetic evolution, that's not the real reality of how things are with the secret space programs. So those claims are not true, and just be careful who you listen to or follow. None of these people are gurus. They shouldn't be put on any pedestals. I'm not a guru, nor do I want to be. I don't like any labels or titles. So, but I felt I really needed to speak about this because I had been in the SSP and I had seen these things for what they are and what it still is, unfortunately. So there's a long way to go for cleanup of outer space and what happens in these secret space programs. They're not love and light, and they haven't been all liberated. There's still work to be done there. So in all honesty, I wanted to speak about this and say that I don't support what this individual is saying or misusing other people's information in the wrong way. So this is what is currently happening here. And again, they've borrowed information from me, they've borrowed information from other people, and they've spliced and diced it and put it out there as the truth, which it is not. So I hope this person gets the help that they need and the healing that they need. So they're on their honest path in life instead of borrowing other people's info and splicing it as sources and information that's coming from the Galactic Federation of Worlds, because it's not coming from those sources, and neither is it coming from the secret space program sources. It's not. Thank you so much, and namaste.